The Millionaire's Time Distortion, how the ultra-wealthy manipulate time for exponential results. Let me ask you something that will revolutionize how you understand the relationship between time and wealth creation. What if I told you that the ultra-wealthy don't just manage time differently, they actually manipulate the very fabric of time itself, creating what I call time distortion fields that allow them to achieve exponential results in compressed time frames? What if I told you that while ordinary people are trapped in linear time, struggling to fit more activities into limited hours, the ultra-wealthy have discovered how to bend time itself, creating temporal advantages that make their success seem almost supernatural? Tonight, you're going to discover what I call the Millionaire's Time Distortion, the systematic method for manipulating time that allows the ultra-wealthy to compress decades of progress into months, achieve multiple lifetimes of accomplishment in single careers, and create wealth at speeds that defy conventional understanding. But first, let me take you inside the moment when one visionary discovered how to manipulate time so completely that he could revolutionize multiple industries simultaneously, while others struggled to master just one: the SpaceX factory time compression laboratory. It was December 2008, and Elon Musk was standing in his SpaceX factory in Hawthorne, California, facing what seemed like impossible timelines. Tesla was nearly bankrupt, SpaceX had failed 3 launches, and conventional wisdom said that focusing on multiple industries simultaneously was a recipe for failure. But Musk was about to demonstrate what Napoleon Hill would later identify as the ultimate time distortion mastery. While other entrepreneurs thought in terms of sequential development, master one thing, then move to the next, Musk had discovered what Hill called parallel time compression, the ability to manipulate time itself so that multiple complex projects could advance simultaneously without diluting focus or reducing quality. That night, Musk didn't just manage his time better. He created what he privately called time multiplication systems that allowed him to exist in multiple temporal realities simultaneously. While his competitors operated in linear time, Musk operated in exponential time, achieving decades of progress in years, years of progress in months. From that factory, Musk didn't just build companies, he bent time itself, creating temporal advantages that allowed him to revolutionize transportation, space exploration, energy, and artificial intelligence simultaneously. He had mastered what Hill called the ultra-wealthy time distortion method, the systematic manipulation of time that creates exponential rather than linear results. The science of temporal wealth acceleration. Through studying the ultra-wealthy's relationship with time, Hill discovered that exponential wealth creation operates according to time principles that transcend conventional time management. Principle 1. Time multiplication versus time management. While ordinary people manage existing time, the ultra-wealthy multiply available time through systematic distortion of temporal perception and reality. Principle 2. Parallel processing versus sequential development. Instead of doing things one at a time, time masters operate multiple complex processes simultaneously without dilution of effectiveness. Principle 3. Future-present compression versus linear progression. Rather than waiting for the future to unfold, time distortion masters compress future possibilities into present realities. Principle 4. Exponential acceleration versus incremental improvement. Time masters don't just work faster, they create exponential acceleration that compounds results beyond linear possibility. Principle 5. Temporal sovereignty versus time slavery. Instead of being enslaved by time constraints, the ultra-wealthy achieve sovereignty over time itself, making time their servant rather than their master. The 5 stages of time distortion mastery. Hill identified 5 progressive stages that lead to complete time manipulation mastery. Stage 1. Temporal awareness, understanding time as malleable resource. Stage 2. Compression techniques, learning to accelerate results. Stage 3. Parallel processing, operating multiple timelines simultaneously. Stage 4. Future compression, bringing future results into present reality. Stage 5. Time sovereignty, complete temporal control for exponential results. Each stage builds temporal mastery until time becomes a tool for exponential rather than linear achievement. Stage 1. Temporal awareness, understanding time as malleable resource. The first stage involves recognizing that time is not fixed but malleable, and that perception of time directly controls achievement velocity and wealth creation speed. Jeff Bezos, the temporal awareness pioneer, Bezos's long-term thinking approach demonstrates perfect temporal awareness. Instead of being trapped by quarterly thinking, Bezos learned to operate across multiple time horizons simultaneously, creating what he called temporal arbitrage. Bezos's temporal awareness system, multi-horizon time perception. Bezos developed awareness of multiple timescales operating simultaneously: immediate time, daily operations, and short-term execution,
strategic time, quarterly and annual development cycles, vision time, decade-scale planning and infrastructure building, legacy time, multi-generational impact and civilization-level thinking, time arbitrage recognition. Bezos discovered opportunities that existed between different temporal perspectives, short-term sacrifice for long-term gain, investing present profits for future exponential returns, patient capital deployment, using time as leverage for competitive advantage, temporal market inefficiencies, exploiting others' short-term thinking for long-term wealth creation.
Perception reality manipulation. Bezos learned that changing time perception changes time reality. Deadline pressure utilization. Using artificial time constraints to accelerate natural development, patience as acceleration. Understanding that patient waiting often produces faster ultimate results. Time investment compounding. Recognizing that time invested in systems compounds exponentially. Your temporal awareness training. Multi-scale time assessment. Identify which time scales dominate your current thinking and decision-making. Recognize opportunities that exist between different temporal perspectives. Develop comfort operating across immediate strategic vision and legacy time horizons simultaneously. Time perception analysis. Document how your perception of available time affects your achievement velocity. Identify time scarcity beliefs that create artificial limitations on possibility. Practice viewing time as abundant and malleable, rather than scarce and fixed. Stage 2, compression techniques, learning to accelerate results. The second stage involves mastering specific techniques for compressing typical timelines, achieving in months what normally takes years, and creating acceleration that compounds. Steve Jobs, the compression technique master. Jobs' ability to compress product development cycles and create breakthrough innovations in impossible timeframes demonstrates perfect compression mastery. He didn't just work faster, he created temporal compression fields that accelerated everything around him. Jobs' compression technique framework. Deadline impossible methodology. Jobs created impossibly tight deadlines that forced breakthrough innovation. Artificial scarcity creation. Using impossible timelines to eliminate non-essential activities. Automatic innovation pressure utilization, forcing teams to find exponential solutions rather than incremental improvements. Perfectionism under pressure, maintaining quality standards while achieving unprecedented speed. Process elimination, innovation. Jobs accelerated results by eliminating rather than optimizing processes. Simplification acceleration, removing complexity to achieve faster and better results simultaneously. Feature reduction, focus, cutting features to accelerate development while improving product quality. Decision compression, making decisions instantly rather than cycling through endless deliberation. Reality distortion field creation. Jobs created psychological environments where impossible timelines became natural and achievable. Expectation reprogramming, training teams to expect breakthrough results in compressed timeframes. Possibility expansion, expanding team perception of what could be achieved quickly. Temporal belief installation, installing beliefs that made impossible timelines feel natural and inevitable. Modern compression examples. Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn.com pressed social networking development to capture market windows. Brian Chesky, Airbnb, accelerated platform scaling through crisis-driven innovation cycles. Patrick Collison, Stripe, compressed payment infrastructure development through obsessive simplification. Your compression technique development. Timeline compression practice. Identify projects that typically take months and practice completing them in weeks. Create artificial deadline pressure that forces elimination of non-essential activity. Develop comfort with good enough execution that allows for rapid iteration and improvement. Process acceleration methods. Eliminate rather than optimize slow processes and systems. Focus on essential elements that create 80% of results in 20% of time. Develop decision-making speed that prevents temporal bottlenecks. Stage 3, parallel processing. Operating multiple timelines simultaneously. The third stage involves developing the ability to operate multiple complex projects simultaneously without dilution, creating what appears to be supernatural productivity and achievement. Elon Musk, the parallel processing virtuoso. Musk's simultaneous operation of Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, Boring Company, and X demonstrates perfect parallel processing. He doesn't just divide his attention, he creates multiple temporal realities that operate independently. Musk's parallel processing strategy, multi-reality operation. Musk operates as if he exists in multiple realities simultaneously. Tesla reality, electric vehicle and sustainable energy revolution timeline. SpaceX reality, space exploration and Mars colonization timeline. Neuralink reality, brain-computer interface development timeline. Infrastructure reality, tunnel systems and transportation revolution timeline. Attention multiplication systems. Musk created systems that multiply rather than divide his attention. Context switching mastery,
rapidly shifting between completely different technical and strategic contexts. Cross-pollination innovation, using insights from one company to accelerate progress in others. Shared resource optimization, utilizing personnel, capital, and intellectual property across multiple ventures.
Temporal isolation techniques. Musk prevents timeline interference by isolating different temporal realities. Project compartmentalization, keeping different timelines psychologically and operationally separate. Team autonomy creation, building teams that can advance timelines without constant oversight. System integration without interference, connecting companies strategically while maintaining operational independence. Your parallel processing training, multi-project management, practice operating 3 significant projects simultaneously without quality reduction. Develop context switching abilities that allow rapid transitions between different focus areas. Create systems that allow projects to advance independently without constant micromanagement. Attention multiplication practice. Learn to generate insights that apply across multiple projects simultaneously. Develop cross-pollination abilities that allow learning in one area to accelerate all areas. Practice maintaining excellence across multiple domains rather than achieving mastery in just one. Stage 4, future compression, bringing future results into present reality. The 4th stage involves collapsing the gap between vision and reality, bringing future possibilities into present manifestation through temporal manipulation techniques. Warren Buffett, the future compression master, build. Buffett's ability to compress decades of value appreciation into immediate investment decisions demonstrates perfect future compression. He doesn't wait for the future, he brings future value into present reality through temporal arbitrage. Buffett's future compression framework, value acceleration techniques. Buffett compresses future value into present opportunity. Long-term value visualization, seeing 20-year value appreciation in current moment decisions. Compound interest compression, accelerating natural compounding through strategic patience and positioning. Market inefficiency exploitation, using others' short-term thinking to capture compressed long-term value. Time arbitrage mastery, Buffett creates wealth by operating in different temporal markets simultaneously. Present-future price arbitrage, buying future value at present discount. Patience as leverage, using time itself as multiplying force for investment returns. Temporal market psychology, understanding how different time perspectives create opportunity. Reality acceleration systems, Buffett brings distant futures into immediate reality. Inevitability recognition, identifying future outcomes that are inevitable but not yet priced. Catalyst anticipation, positioning for events that will compress timelines dramatically. Systematic value realization, creating systems that automatically convert time into wealth. Modern future compression examples, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, compressed internet search future into immediate Google dominance. Mark Zuckerberg, accelerated social networking future into meta empire reality. Reed Hastings, compressed streaming media future into Netflix market leadership. Your future compression development, vision reality gap elimination. Practice identifying future possibilities that can be manifested immediately through strategic action. Develop abilities to see inevitable futures that others cannot yet perceive. Create systems that convert long-term visions into immediate tactical advantages. Temporal arbitrage creation. Identify opportunities where short-term sacrifices create exponential long-term gains. Practice patience as active strategy rather than passive waiting. Develop comfort investing. Present resources for future exponential returns. Stage 5, time sovereignty. Complete temporal control for exponential results. The final stage involves achieving complete sovereignty over time itself, operating beyond normal temporal constraints, and creating exponential results through pure temporal mastery. Leonardo da Vinci, the time sovereignty master. Da Vinci's ability to achieve multiple lifetimes of accomplishment in art, science, engineering, and philosophy demonstrates ultimate time sovereignty. He operated beyond normal temporal limitations through pure mastery of time itself. Da Vinci's time sovereignty system, temporal transcendence achievement. Da Vinci transcended normal time limitations through consciousness mastery, present moment infinity, accessing infinite creative potential in each moment through total presence, cross-temporal learning, applying insights across centuries through timeless principle recognition, mortality transcendence, creating work that exists beyond temporal limitations, multi-dimensional productivity. Da Vinci achieved productivity that seemed supernatural through dimensional thinking, simultaneous creation, working on multiple masterpieces simultaneously without quality reduction, cross-disciplinary integration, using art to advance science, and science to enhance art, innovation acceleration, creating breakthroughs that advanced multiple fields centuries ahead. Legacy time programming. Da Vinci created work that continued advancing human capability beyond his temporal existence, timeless innovation creation, developing ideas that would inspire innovation for centuries, future-proof wisdom, creating insights that transcend temporal and cultural limitations. Civilization acceleration, advancing human capability through pure temporal mastery. The complete time distortion formula. Based on studying temporal mastery, Hill developed the complete formula for time sovereignty. Formula Component 1, Temporal Awareness Mastery. Recognize time as malleable resource that can be manipulated through perception and strategic thinking. Formula Component 2, Compression Technique. Expertise master systematic methods for compressing typical timelines and accelerating results exponentially. Formula Component 3, Parallel Processing Capability. Develop ability to operate multiple complex timelines simultaneously without quality dilution. Formula Component 4, Future Compression Technology. Learn to collapse gaps between vision and reality, bringing future possibilities into present manifestation. Formula Component 5, Time Sovereignty Achievement. Achieve complete mastery over time itself for unlimited exponential results. The 365-Day Time Distortion Protocol. Phase 1, Awareness Foundation. Days 1 through 90. Temporal Perception Training. Daily practice of multi-horizon thinking across immediate, strategic, vision, and legacy timescales. Development of time abundance mentality that replaces scarcity-based temporal thinking. Recognition of time arbitrage opportunities that exist between different temporal perspectives. Time reality assessment. Recognition of Zen. Complete analysis of how current time perception limits achievement potential. Identification of temporal beliefs that create artificial constraints on possibility. Understanding of time as resource that can be multiplied rather than just managed. Phase 2, Compression Mastery. Days 91 through 80. Practice of deadline impossible methodology for breakthrough innovation, forcing mastery of process elimination that accelerates results through simplification. Development of reality distortion fields that make compressed timelines natural. Timeline compression application. Systematic compression of typical project timelines by 50 to 75%. Creation of artificial scarcity that eliminates non-essential activities automatically. Achievement of breakthrough results through imposed temporal constraints. Phase 3, Parallel Processing Development. Days 181 to 270. Multi-timeline operation. Systematic development of ability to operate 3 to 5 complex projects simultaneously. Mastery of context switching without loss of quality or effectiveness. Creation of cross-pollination systems that accelerate all projects through shared insight. Attention multiplication systems. Development of systems that multiply rather than divide available attention. Creation of temporal isolation techniques that prevent timeline interference. Achievement of supernatural productivity through parallel processing mastery. Phase 4, Sovereignty Integration. Days 271-365. Future Compression Mastery. REOS, achievement of ability to bring future possibilities into present reality. Mastery of temporal arbitrage for wealth creation and competitive advantage. Development of inevitability recognition that compresses outcome timelines. Complete time sovereignty. Achievement of complete control over temporal experience and reality. Development of legacy programming that creates timeless value. Mastery of exponential acceleration that transcends normal temporal limitations. The laws of temporal wealth creation. Law 1. The law of time malleability. Time is not fixed but malleable. Perception of time controls achievement velocity. Masters manipulate time rather than being controlled by it. Law 2. The law of compression. Acceleration. Artificial time pressure forces exponential rather than incremental solutions. Impossible deadlines create breakthrough innovation. Law 3. The law of parallel multiplication. Operating multiple timelines simultaneously multiplies rather than divides results. Parallel processing transcends sequential limitations. Law 4. The law of future compression. Present actions can compress future timelines into immediate reality. Vision reality gaps can be eliminated through temporal arbitrage. Law 5. The law of temporal sovereignty. Complete mastery over time creates unlimited exponential results. Time sovereignty is the ultimate wealth creation advantage, your time distortion revolution, and now we come to the ultimate moment of choice. You've discovered not just how to manage time better, but how to manipulate time itself, the secret that separates the ultra-wealthy from everyone else trapped in linear temporal thinking. This isn't about productivity hacks or time management. This is about achieving sovereignty over time itself, creating temporal advantages that make exponential wealth creation inevitable rather than just possible. Most people will hear about time distortion and think about working harder or being more efficient. Some will try compression techniques while still thinking linearly. A few will achieve true temporal mastery and will discover that time sovereignty creates unlimited wealth potential. Which group will you join? Remember, Musk operates multiple billion-dollar companies simultaneously through parallel processing. Bezos compressed decades of retail evolution into years through temporal arbitrage.
Jobs accelerated product development to impossible speeds through compression mastery. Da Vinci achieved multiple lifetimes of accomplishment through time sovereignty. You have access to the same temporal principles. You have the same potential for time mastery. You have the same opportunity to manipulate time for exponential rather than linear results. The temporal sovereignty activation. This is your moment of temporal choice. Not to manage time better, but to manipulate time itself. Not to be more productive, but to achieve time sovereignty that creates exponential acceleration. The time distortion revolution isn't coming. It's here now. It's you, bending time itself to create exponential rather than linear results. Like this video, if you're ready to manipulate time for exponential wealth creation. Subscribe to this channel if you want continued training in temporal sovereignty mastery. Comment below and declare, I master time. I compress timelines. I achieve temporal sovereignty. Share this message with someone ready to transcend linear thinking and achieve temporal mastery. When you help others understand time distortion, you strengthen your own temporal sovereignty. Remember, every moment you accept linear time limitations is a moment you delay exponential acceleration. Every moment you practice temporal mastery is a moment you move toward time sovereignty. The timelines are waiting to be compressed. The temporal advantages are ready to be created. The exponential acceleration is ready to be unleashed. Bend the time, compress the timelines, achieve the sovereignty. Your temporal revolution begins with your next time distortion decision.